So on my channel there's a small brief on what this box is all about. So this is a quick update on what's going on in this box, so that if you want to do this box in the future for any project, it doesn't have to be for a trailer hookup, it can be for any setup you want. So this is the main cable going in, which you have seen it all working, like green light, that sort of thing. So this switch is a 12 volt switch. On is up, down is off. That is going to a negative block. It's going to a negative block here. So this is a negative block, meaning all negatives are in this one block. The main, and then it distributes all off to dedicated negative areas. So from the negative area it goes to the socket, which is a 12 volt socket, main 12 volt socket, and then the negative goes to this little black box. Now this little black box is a remote control receiver. It receives signal from the remote controls at 334 feet away, if my memory is correct, and that's, I'm not sure, and I have to look it up. So if I find out the right settings, I will send a link to the video when I find the settings for it. But anyway, it's a black box of tricks, so I call it. Now, negative coming in, negative going out, and that goes back to there. Okay? Sorry if it's a bit confusing, it's a long time since I've done a video. So, from the switch running down this line is live. That live is going to another junction down there, and that's distributing all the lives to all the lives need to go. So you've got the main going in, the switch going in, and then it goes into these fuse boxes and off to their dedicated areas. Now, if I remember correctly, this fuse here should be a 15 amp. If I can open it up. Nope. It's a 20 amp. So I've got one 20 amp, which is yellow, and one of these should be a 15. Can't be both 20s. And there's your 15, which is not coming up on camera very well. Or is it? Yep, that's a 15. So the blue's a 15, which is now just coming clear on the camera, and the yellow is 20, which should be coming up on the camera when it sets up right. I got quite used to doing electricals to the point where I can basically tell some of the colours for the fuses and what ampage they are by the fuses. Not always, but 50% of the time. So the 15 amp is going to the trailer setup, and the 20 amp is going to the 12 volt socket. Now, you may be wondering that's the wrong way round, and it is the wrong way round. The 15 should be on the 12 volt socket and the 20 should be on the trailer, and I will swap them around in due time. For now, they're alright, then I think I'm going to blow them both anyway, they're safe. So that's that setup. Now, in the future, this little white box, which has got a see-through lid and it is waterproof, will be hooked onto a spot on a bike. So the 12 volt power will be working. But for now it's just in my room because I have not had any idea of how to mount it to the bike. Because I don't really want to make this box not waterproof. So I've got to work a way of screwing this box to the bike without letting any water in. As you know, water and electrics don't mix. because these terminals under here are only fork connectors. So the heat shrinked on to the fork connectors. You got your positive, which is your fuse, your negative, which is the main negative. You got the positive for the load and the negative for the load. So that's what out and in mean. Input is your live coming in, output is load going out. I'll put that over there to keep that from electrocuting people or myself. So you've seen the remote controls in the short and how they've worked. The fuses will be switched over in the future. I'm not going to do it right now because I need both hands to do that. And I'm using my phone to record because I haven't got a proper setup for recording just yet. So I've done waterproof connectors on the switches. As you can see, those terminals are pretty close together. So having a waterproof spade connector on each terminal is less likely to short the circuit. Same goes there. Waterproof connectors less likely to short circuit. And these are spade connectors on here as well. And then you can see the spade connectors here as well. So you got your 12 volt plug, regular 12 volt plug. I'll just open that up. And it's a waterproof one. And then you've got like a lawnmower connector, which I'm using as a trailer hookup. But basically lights, not lights as in lights you have on the road, but work lights and other bits and pieces that I might connect onto the trailer in the future. I'm not using that connection for road lights because it means I need a setup for indicators and things like that. And I have not got that layout sorted. So I'm just basically leaving it as work lights or other things that need power going to the trailer. Now some of you may ask, why am I not using the 12 volt plug for that setup? Well, if you know, on a rainy day, a 12 volt plug out in the rain without the casing lid down, water can go in and short circuit the whole entire thing. So by having this setup, it's a waterproof connection through and through. So it's more safer for the electrical box. And in doing so is safer for everything because in there's, as I said, is spade connectors, and that is a very tight fit, and I don't really want it to undo that in an emergency because that's so tightly put in there. And so is this one, but this one I can fiddle out and change at any time. That one will be a bit of a difficult one to do. Black box, which is my magic trick box, which is a receiver for the remote controls. I'm not sure how it works inside, but I know that they are one brilliant device. I've got these in mostly 4 other objects in my wiring net setup. I buy them one at a time when I need them, and I just use them, and they're brilliant. Best little devices I've seen out there for remote control settings, and they're 12 volt, and you can also get them for house electrics as well. And I'll send a link, put a link on the video, and I find the link to both receivers, 12 volt and 24 volts, and they are amazing. And they were a treat for me. So I hope that this little video has helped you understand what the short was all about and what's in what setup. So in the future, you put a 15 amp fuse on the 12 volt plug, and the 20 amp fuse will go on the trailer setup. Well, I call it trailer setup, but it is not. Really, it's just a lawnmower plug which is waterproof, and it just connects the connector on. If I remember later, I will put a link on the site of where I got these two from, and this one, and maybe these fuse holders if I can find them. But I'm not 100% certain if I will find the actual link for all of this, but I will try my best to find it all. So I've got the switches, and I'll send a link to everything that's here if I can find it all, okay? So don't hold me to it. I'm just saying if I can, I will try and find it. So I'm not going to be one for doing videos all the time, but if I do see something that I think is interesting, I will try and get a video of it, and I'll talk you through the setup.